Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. The strongest trees don't bend with the wind. They stand tall and silent, unshaken by the storm. Sigma males aren't loud or flashy, but their quiet strength speaks volumes. They don't need to prove themselves to anyone because their confidence comes from knowing who they are at their core. This is exactly why narcissists and manipulators find them so threatening. Sigma males don't play by the usual rules. They don't get caught up in drama or emotional games. Instead, they see things clearly, feel deeply but control their emotions, and act with precision. Being a Sigma male means you've chosen a different path, one of independence, self-awareness, and inner power. You don't rely on approval or validation from others because your sense of worth is built from within. This makes you naturally immune to manipulation. You don't chase approval or fall for fake charm. You recognize patterns, spot lies, and keep your distance from toxic energy. You aren't easily rattled, and you don't react impulsively. You pause, calculate, and move deliberately. If you've ever felt like an outsider or someone who doesn't fit into the typical social circles, know this. Your difference is your strength. Your ability to stand firm without needing to control others is rare and powerful. Narcissists fear you because you don't fuel their games. You starve them. So keep trusting your instincts, honor your boundaries, and remember that your calm strength is what makes you unstoppable. Let's dive in rare breeds. Number 1. They observe patterns, not personalities. This is where Sigma males truly stand apart from the rest. While most people get distracted by charisma, charm, or emotional stories, Sigma males are locked in on something else entirely: patterns. They're not swayed by how good someone looks, how smooth they talk, or how tragic their past sounds. Instead, they're quietly watching what really matters: consistency, timing, energy shifts, body language, and patterns of behavior that most people overlook. You could be saying all the right things, wearing a perfect smile and putting on your best act. But if your actions don't line up with your words, a Sigma male will clock it instantly. They're not easily fooled because they're not emotionally invested in surface-level impressions. They've trained themselves to watch for habits, repetition, loopholes in your logic, emotional traps hidden behind pretty words. A narcissist might think they've pulled someone into their web just because the room is nodding and laughing. But that one Sigma male in the corner, he's not laughing, he's not clapping, he's taking mental notes. While others get hypnotized by the story, he's already noticed your tone changed when the attention shifted. He's already seen how your energy shifted when someone else got the spotlight. He's not caught in your story, he's watching your pattern. And here's the brutal truth. This terrifies manipulators. Why? Because their entire game depends on you reacting to personality, not behavior. They rely on being charming, dramatic, or pitiful. They want you to feel for them so you won't see them. But Sigma males see everything. They don't need confrontation. They don't need drama. They just need to see you do the same thing twice. And they'll figure out who you really are. That's why narcissists hate them. Because while everyone else is clapping for the act, the Sigma male has already walked out of the theater. He's not impressed by the show. He's focused on the truth behind the curtain. Number 2. They don't react. They calculate. Here's where Sigma males flip the entire game. In a world where people are quick to react, quick to defend themselves, or quick to explode when provoked, Sigma males do something that feels almost unnatural to manipulators. They pause. Not because they're unsure, not because they're weak, but because they're watching, calculating, measuring every word, tone, and motive behind what's happening. And that pause, that calm stillness in the face of emotional chaos, it terrifies manipulators. Because they depend on fast emotional reactions to gain control. They poke at your insecurities. They twist your words. They create just enough confusion to make you feel off balance, so you'll lash out, explain yourself, or fall into their trap. But the Sigma male, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't argue. He doesn't give them the chaos they feed on. Instead, he slows everything down. He listens without getting pulled in. He notices what's not being said. He pays attention to your timing, your energy, your patterns. While the manipulator thinks they've thrown the bait, The Sigma male is already 10 steps ahead, breaking down the entire setup silently in his head. This ability to stay calm under pressure doesn't just protect him, it flips the power dynamic completely. Because when you don't react, the manipulator has nothing to work with. They start to panic. They say more than they should. They reveal their intentions. They become emotionally sloppy, while the Sigma male stays centered and unbothered, and that's the difference. Most people react to pressure. Sigma males analyze it. They treat every situation like a puzzle, not a threat. And when the time is right, they respond, not emotionally, but strategically. And when they move, it's not loud or messy. It's final, controlled, unshakable. You can't manipulate someone who refuses to play the game. That's why Sigma males don't just win. They end the game altogether. Number 3. They remember everything you forgot you said. This is one of the quietest yet most unsettling traits Sigma males have. They don't just listen to respond, they listen to understand. And more than that, they store what you say. Not in a petty or obsessive way, but in a calm, intentional, almost surgical manner. While everyone else in the room is nodding or half distracted, the Sigma male is making mental notes, cataloging every word, every shift in tone, every story you tell. Then comes the twist. You forget what you said, but he doesn't. Days later, weeks later, maybe even months. You say something that contradicts your past words, and without any warning, the Sigma male drops a reminder, not to humiliate you, not to start a fight, but with the same casual tone you'd use when asking someone to pass the salt. That's when narcissists start to panic. Because for them, words are weapons. They say whatever works in the moment, twisting facts, rewriting memories, bending truths. They're used to people forgetting. They need people to forget. But the Sigma male doesn't forget. He tracks everything, not emotionally, but logically. And when he points it out, it's devastating, not with anger, but with clarity. No drama, just facts. He calmly exposes the inconsistency, and in that moment the mask starts to fall apart. Narcissists rely on charm and confusion to protect their false self. But Sigma males act like mirrors, reflecting the truth with zero distortion. It's not about catching people in lies. It's about noticing patterns. When the words stop matching the actions, when the story changes just a little too much, he sees it. And once he sees it, it's over. Manipulators hate Sigma males not because they fight back, but because they remember, and that memory, that sharp, quiet awareness, it's the one thing no narcissist can outsmart. Number 4. They don't fear walking away. This is where Sigma males completely destroy a narcissist's sense of power. They don't need you. They don't cling. They don't beg for closure. They don't try to prove their worth. The second something feels off, manipulative or fake, they're already halfway out the door, mentally gone before anyone notices. And when they do leave, they don't slam doors or make a scene. They vanish, clean, silent, final. To a narcissist, this is a nightmare. Narcissists survive by making people dependent on them, emotionally, mentally, even financially. They create drama to stay relevant. They pull people back in with guilt, charm, or chaos. But with Sigma males, none of that works. Because the Sigma male doesn't need their approval, attention, or validation. If the energy isn't real, he simply doesn't stick around. No argument, no explanation, just distance. What truly stings is how unemotional it seems. The narcissist expects rage, tears, or a desperate chase. But instead, the Sigma male leaves like he's canceling a subscription. No guilt, no second thoughts. Just a quiet knowing that his peace is worth more than staying tied to anything fake. That kind of detachment? It cuts deeper than any loud reaction, because it says, you don't control me, you never did. And narcissists hate that. They thrive when they're the center of your emotional world. But Sigma males are their own world, and that internal power, the ability to walk away without fear or hesitation, is what breaks the narcissist's illusion. The truth is, Sigma males don't view walking away as losing. They see it as self-respect. They're not trying to fix people who don't want to be honest. They're not staying to prove a point. They leave when it's time, and they never look back. And that kind of quiet freedom, it's something a narcissist will never understand and never be able to control. Number 5, their emotional independence exposes your emotional hunger. Manipulators thrive in environments where emotions run high. They want people emotionally hooked, reactive, needy, uncertain, because that's where they find control. So when they come across a Sigma male, it's like trying to light a match in the middle of a thunderstorm. No matter how much drama they throw, the Sigma male remains calm, unbothered, and entirely unimpressed. And that silence, that emotional independence, it drives manipulators crazy. Because Sigma males aren't giving them what they want: validation, attention, or emotional chaos. They don't feed the flames. They don't rush to fix or explain. They observe, stay grounded, and respond only if necessary. That calm, steady energy throws manipulators completely off balance. It reveals something they've been trying to hide: their emotional hunger. While manipulators are desperately trying to stay relevant, oversharing, picking fights, seeking pity or praise, the Sigma male just watches. He doesn't react because he doesn't need to. He's already whole. He isn't playing for power, approval, or affection. He's not dependent on anyone's emotional climate, which is exactly why he sees through it. This kind of detachment is uncomfortable to anyone who uses manipulation as a form of control. When someone doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, and doesn't try to manage your emotions for you, it leaves you exposed, naked, seen. And for manipulators, being seen for what they really are is terrifying. They try harder, they push more buttons, they turn up the volume. But all they're really doing is revealing just how emotionally desperate they are. And the more they spiral, the more obvious it becomes that their power was always an illusion. Sigma males don't reject connection. They just refuse to need it to function. And that, right there, is what makes them so dangerous to manipulators. Because when you can't control someone emotionally, you can't control them at all. Number 6. They are loyal to truth, not people. This is one of the hardest things about Sigma males that most manipulators never see coming. Sigma males don't attach blindly. They don't hand out loyalty just because you've shared history, blood, or memories. Their loyalty is tied to truth, not familiarity, not guilt, and definitely not manipulation. You could have known them for years, called them family, laughed with them, supported them, but the second they sense that your presence is fake, selfish, or built on lies, it's over. No warning, no dramatic exit, just distance. Silent, permanent. Because in their world, integrity always comes first. Always. Manipulators and narcissists love to exploit emotional bonds. They rely on history, guilt trips, or the idea of loyalty to keep people around even when they're being toxic. But Sigma males don't play that game. They've learned that truth is rare, and when they find it, they protect it. But when they don't, they detach. This terrifies manipulators because they expect people to stay, even when the truth is ugly. They think emotional memories are stronger than clarity. But Sigma males don't let feelings cloud their vision. They watch what you do, not what you say. And when they see the truth that your presence is self-serving, dishonest, or manipulative, they leave. Quietly, but completely. What makes it even more brutal is that Sigma males don't make a show of it. They don't argue. They don't announce it. They don't give you a closing statement. They just disappear. And that silence speaks louder than any fight ever could. That's what makes them so dangerous to manipulators. You can't guilt them. You can't hold history over their head. And you definitely can't twist their loyalty, because they're not loyal to you. They're loyal to what's real. And the second you show them you're not, you're already out of the picture. Number 7. They make you feel exposed without ever accusing you. There's something unnerving about being around a Sigma male, especially if you're hiding something. They don't interrogate you, they don't raise their voice, and they rarely confront directly. But somehow just their presence makes the masks start to slip. Without saying a word, they make people feel seen, really seen. And for manipulators and narcissists, that's a nightmare. Sigma males have this quiet, watchful energy. They're not interested in small talk or surface-level charm. They listen more than they speak. And when they look at you, it's not just a glance. It's like they're reading the fine print of your character. Every inconsistency, every subtle contradiction, every moment where your words don't match your energy, it all gets mentally logged. And they never need to call you out. They don't waste time arguing or trying to prove anything. But the way they look at you, it makes people uneasy. The silence becomes louder than accusations. Manipulators start second-guessing themselves. They repeat stories, they over-explain. They do damage control even when no one's attacking them. That's the power of the Sigma male. He creates this invisible mirror just by being in the room. And if you've been hiding behind lies, manipulation, or fake charm, that mirror becomes unbearable. Narcissists who live off perception and control can't handle it. Because the Sigma male doesn't fall for the act. He doesn't flatter, he doesn't feed your ego, he just sees you, and that silent recognition cracks the illusion. What's brutal is that it's not personal for the Sigma male. He's not trying to expose you. He's just naturally aligned with truth and authenticity. That alone is enough to make the fake unravel. Because when you're used to deceiving people, being around someone who sees through everything but never says a word, feels like standing under a spotlight with nowhere to hide. Number 8. They don't entertain pity plays. One of the manipulator's favorite tactics is the victim card. When they sense they're losing control or getting exposed, they flip the script. Suddenly they're the one who's been wronged. The sob stories roll in, the emotional theatrics kick up, and they expect sympathy to cloud judgment. Most people fall for it. But Sigma males, they just stare through it, calm, unaffected, unmoved. This isn't because they lack empathy. It's because they know the difference between pain and performance. Sigma males are deeply observant. They know when someone is genuinely vulnerable, and they're the first to offer real support when it's authentic. But when someone starts using their pain as a tool for manipulation, they shut it down without blinking. The key is that Sigma males don't take emotional bait. They don't respond out of guilt. They don't hand out passes just because someone's voice shakes or eyes water. They look at the pattern, and if the story keeps changing or the tears only show up when they're being held accountable, the Sigma male instantly tunes out. Not cruel, just detached. And that indifference, it drives manipulators up the wall, because they're used to people bending over backwards when they cry foul. They expect emotional bribery to buy them more time or control. But Sigma males are immune. They don't chase after people's broken pieces, especially when those pieces are weaponized for sympathy. They simply disengage. To the manipulator, this feels cold. But to the Sigma male, it's clarity. They know that pity can be a disguise, and they refuse to reward it. This is what makes them so dangerous to narcissists and manipulators. They can't be guilt-tripped, lured in, or emotionally hijacked. They see the play before it's even finished, and they walk away mid-act. Number 9. They process quietly but act surgically. Narcissists thrive on noise, loud arguments, constant drama, confusing twists meant to keep everyone off balance. Their weapon is chaos because when everything's messy, they stay in control. But Sigma males, they operate in the opposite way. They watch in silence. They absorb every detail without reacting. They analyze the chaos like a surgeon studying a complex puzzle. This quiet processing makes them nearly impossible to manipulate. While others get caught up in the whirlwind, Sigma males step back, putting emotional distance between themselves and the storm. They don't waste energy on useless arguments or emotional flare-ups. Instead, they focus on understanding the whole picture, the motivations, weaknesses, and patterns. And when they decide to act, it's nothing like the narcissist's bluster or unpredictable outbursts. The Sigma male's moves are calculated, sharp, and final. No second chances. No messy confrontations, just surgical precision. Every word, every decision is intentional, designed to dismantle the manipulative web without drama or hesitation. This kind of action terrifies narcissists because it breaks their cycle of control. They're used to chaos where their confusing tactics reign, but the Sigma male's calm and deadly precision exposes them. No theatrics needed. The silent power of a Sigma male strikes with exactness, leaving no room for manipulation or comeback. In short, Sigma males don't waste their energy reacting. They conserve it, analyze, and then strike with absolute clarity. And that's a game changer for anyone used to controlling others through emotional chaos. Because when the storm settles, the Sigma male's move is the only one left standing. Number 10. They don't seek allies. They are the storm. Manipulators love to play people against each other. They build armies out of fear, gossip, and jealousy, triangulating to keep everyone divided and under their thumb. They believe power comes from numbers, from control over the crowd. But Sigma males, they don't care about the crowd. They don't need a fan club or a posse to prove their strength. Instead, they stand alone, and that's what makes them terrifying to manipulators, because a lone storm is unpredictable, unstoppable, and impossible to control. Sigma males don't waste energy recruiting allies or managing relationships to keep power. They are the force on their own. No need for smokescreens or puppets. Their independence cuts through gossip and schemes like a razor. When manipulators try to isolate or smear them, it backfires. There's no audience to sway because Sigma males don't depend on approval. They don't scramble to defend themselves or fix every rumor. They simply keep moving, unshaken and unbothered. This makes triangulation useless. If there's no one to recruit or manipulate against them, the whole tactic collapses. Being the storm means embracing solitude and self-reliance with confidence, not loneliness or bitterness. Sigma males don't seek validation in numbers. Their power comes from within. They don't need armies because they don't fight for power. They are power. And that silent, solitary strength terrifies manipulators more than any loud battle cry ever could. Because when you're the storm, no one can hurt you. No whisper campaign can contain you. And no puppet master can pull your strings. Number 11. They don't explain themselves to untrustworthy people. Manipulators thrive on control, and one of their favorite tools is endless questioning, demanding explanations, twisting words, pulling you into exhausting debates. They want to trap you in confusion, wear you down until you break and reveal more than you should. But Sigma males see right through this exhausting game. They know that not everyone deserves their time or energy. When manipulators push for answers, Sigma males don't rush to comply. Instead, they pull back, silent, guarded, and unbothered. They've learned that clarity is a gift, not an obligation, and if you've proven yourself untrustworthy, that gift simply isn't yours. No amount of nagging or guilt-tripping will pry it out of them. This refusal to explain isn't arrogance or ignorance, it's protection. Sigma males understand that words can be twisted and used against you. They guard their truth carefully, sharing it only with those who've earned respect and shown loyalty. To the rest, their silence speaks volumes. You're not worth the energy. This shuts manipulators down cold. They rely on muddying the waters, controlling narratives by forcing people to justify themselves. But when the Sigma male closes that door, it leaves manipulators grasping at air, frustrated, powerless, and exposed. So remember, a Sigma male's silence isn't weakness or avoidance, it's a boundary. It's a signal that if you want to earn their trust and clarity, you've got to prove you're worthy. Until then, explanations are off the table, and attempts to drag them into pointless debates are wasted effort. In conclusion, strength doesn't shout, it stands steady, silent, and unshakable. Sigma males don't fit the usual mold, they don't crave validation or seek approval. They operate on their own terms, guided by their own code. That's why narcissists and manipulators fear them. It's not just about being tough or distant, it's about being unbreakable in ways that don't need to be loud to be felt. You're not afraid to stand alone because your power comes from within, not from the crowd or the noise. You see through the lies, refuse to play the game and hold your peace like a fortress. That quiet confidence, the ability to stay calm when others panic, makes you untouchable. Remember, your strength isn't about fighting every battle. It's about choosing which ones deserve your time and energy, and walking away from those that don't. Narcissists hate this because they rely on control and chaos. You give them neither. Being a Sigma male means embracing your independence and emotional clarity as your greatest weapons. It means knowing your worth so well that you don't waste it on manipulation or drama. It means moving through life with a sharp mind and steady heart, never losing sight of your truth. So hold on to that. Stand firm in your silence, your boundaries, and your unshakable resolve. You're not just surviving the games others play, you're rewriting the rules, and that terrifies those who rely on deceit. You are a storm in a world of noise, and no one who thrives on control can ever cage a storm. Thank you for watching. God bless you.